Welcome back to California Cooking. Today is all about those warm, comforting smells that come with fall. And we're starting at a bakery where the cinnamon rolls steal the show. Then it's all about apple cider. I'm gonna make a hearty short rib stew, braised in apple cider, and homemade apple cider donuts that are perfect sweet ending to my fall-inspired menu. We're kicking things off at Badash Bakes in Pasadena. The cinnamon rolls take center stage, but honestly, everything here is worth a bite, from their gooey chocolate chip cookies to their melt-in-your-mouth cake slices and all the seasonal sweets. There's something here for every sweet tooth. Let's meet the talented owner and baker, Ashley.
Hi, I'm Ashley. Welcome to Badash Bakes. Badash Bakes is a bakery in Pasadena on Colorado Boulevard. We opened on April 29th of 2025. We're known for our cinnamon rolls. We have matcha cinnamon rolls, classic cinnamon rolls, coffee cake, cookies. We have such a wide variety of baked goods. Badash Bakes is a play on my Instagram name, which is so badash, and my name is Ashley, and the name sort of came before the bakery and just stuck, so I stuck with the name, but it's just a play on my name. The community in Pasadena has been so welcoming. I could not have asked for a better location. They have showed so much love and patience and kindness and grace. In the beginning, they would bring lunch for us, for the staff, because they saw the lines, and they would always come in with encouraging words. They'd find me, say something nice to me, and just that would keep me going. Originally, the lines that were out of the door, it was such an overwhelming feeling, and it's such a scary feeling when you're not used to this. This is my first brick and mortar, so it was tough to get acclimated, but now I welcome it. I love it. It's a challenge. I have an amazing team who is here before me every single day to make sure that this machine runs smoothly, and we love it now. This bakery was a dream of mine, from being a personal chef, baking a lot of baked goods for my clients, for my families, for holidays. And I got to share this journey of mine on TikTok, and I was able to ship cookies to my followers nationwide. And this bakery was birthed from that, shipping cookies. I grew up in Los Angeles, California. I'm from Lakeview Terrace. I went to high school in Granada Hills. I was part of a competition team at Granada Hills Charter High School, and I won a scholarship to culinary school. I became a savory chef, and I fell in love with baking as a hobby. Our tagline here is, food is love made visible. So we love cooking. It's a big part of my life. It's always been a big part of my life. I fell in love with food when I was very young. My grandmother and my aunt taught me how to cook, and I just remember being so enthralled with them, making Thanksgiving spreads, and I thought it was magic. And now I've been able to transform that same feel into my own bakery and into my customers' lives. I was a private chef for about 4 years. I had NBA clients that I was contracted to, and I've cooked for every celebrity you can think of in Los Angeles. While cooking for my clients, they would see that I would make baked goods on Instagram, and so they would request pound cakes and cookies and different things, and they loved the baked goods. They sort of gave me the encouragement and put that seed in my brain that the baked goods could be just as popular as the meals. I would say my chocolate chip cookie put me on the map. But when the doors to this bakery opened, it was the cinnamon roll. So it's flipped the script. Our chocolate chip cookies, our s'mores cookies are very popular, but the cinnamon roll was a game changer. Our cinnamon roll is so special because it's that middle, gooey, soft part of the cinnamon roll that everyone loves, but it's the entire roll. The icing has a little bit of citrus to it. There's a very, very warm spice, a lot of cinnamon, so people really, really love it. We're known for our thin, chewy cookies. So we use a lot of butter, a lot of brown sugar, so they're crunchy on the outside, but then you get that soft, gooey center, and it's a very chewy cookie, very thin cookie, has a lot of ridges on the edges. And so it's baked with a lot of love. We have a lot of other hidden gems, I feel like, that don't get a lot of love. Our double chocolate cookie is one. I love that cookie. It's so rich and chocolatey. Our chocolate cake, I eat this chocolate cake for breakfast every weekend when we're closed. And our coffee cake. We have an LAUSD coffee cake. So it's like the coffee cake we used to eat in school. It's so delicious, has a great crumb topping, and I think that's a great item. We just made it a little bigger, kept the price the same, so you have to check that out. Today we're gonna make a peach galette. So we're gonna use the pie crust that we're gonna use for all of our pies here at the bakery, and we're gonna fill it with peaches, a little brown sugar, nutmeg, some of the warm fall spices. And you can use the same recipe, substitute in apples, pears, whatever fruits you'd like to use. Pretty interchangeable. We are going to make a peach galette. So this is, to me, a very easy version of a peach cobbler, which is a very significant part of my family life. We love peach cobbler. It is the most popular Thanksgiving dessert. So this is a traditional pie crust, which I can share the recipe. And instead of dealing with the fuss of the pie pan, you can just make a shaggy dough and roll it out on a sheet pan. This is a really, really butter heavy dough. You can see all of the marbling, which leads to a really flaky dough. And I'm going to use this cake turner just to get a circle out of the pie dough. You can reuse the pie dough for another galette. This filling is, I browned a little butter and sauteed the peaches in the brown butter just for a little depth of flavor. Brown sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg, and vanilla extract. I tossed the fresh peaches in a little bit of lemon juice just to minimize the oxidizing. You can also use frozen peaches, you can use canned peaches, whatever peaches you prefer. So the best part about this, it's no molding. You just keep folding it over until nothing leaks out. And here I have a little egg wash. This is an egg and heavy cream. And just so the pie dough browns really beautifully, we're gonna just egg wash the dough. And this goes in the oven at about 350 to 375, depending on how hot your oven runs, for about 30 minutes. You'll know it's done by color. When your crust looks like the way you wanna eat it, it's done. And the magic of TV baking, here is the finished product, our peach galette.
Oh my God, Ashley, that looks great! I want a slice of that. Oh my God, I love the crust.
Thank you, Mom. This
Wow.
is my mother.
Wow.
She's here with us every day.
That looks good.
Thank you so much for taking the time to visit. We hope one day you'll get to try our famous chocolate chip s'mores cookie and our cinnamon roll.
Coming up, my taste of fall continues with apple cider, adding a cozy twist to my short rib stew, and giving my homemade donuts a seasonal spin. When it comes to cozy fall dinners, it doesn't get better than these apple cider braised short ribs served over buttery mashed potatoes, and it's just what you want on a chilly night in. It is apple season. As you know, this time of year, there's apples everywhere, and I just can't let apple season go without a couple of apple recipes. This one is a savory dish, and it's using apple cider as one of the ingredients. So it's kind of like a braised short rib, but with an apple cider kind of a sauce, if you will. And I just like the idea of it. I've never really tried cooking with apple cider. Look at this big, beautiful glass bottle of apple cider, and I want to taste it. Oh my gosh, it's so much more intense than a regular apple juice. Or you could do, if you can't find cider, you could just do unfiltered apple juice, which is very similar, if not the same thing. It just is more potent. And see how it's not clear like regular apple juice. I'm also going to cut up a little bit of bacon as the base, and we're gonna take the short ribs that don't have bones. I think you probably would benefit maybe from using the short rib with bone, but the store didn't have those today, so I just went without. So these are boneless short ribs. We're gonna saute things first, kind of brown those short ribs, and then stick them in a Dutch oven and let them cook. kind of braise and get nice and tender in the oven. So first step, getting all of our ingredients. Bacon is cut, onion, got one kind of large onion. Cut that into, I think, slice rings, maybe. Yeah, I love going to farmers markets or apple picking and picking up cider because it's only around for a short time every year. One onion and just into rings like this, I think. Get these nice and kind of caramelized as they cook. And because of the sugar content in apple cider, I think it'll brown things nicely in the oven. Back on the stove, I'm boiling some Yukon Gold potatoes, and we're gonna make a mashed potato to go along with this. A very cozy fall dinner. Now I've got the short ribs. I'm going to just coat them in flour when we brown them. I think it'll help thicken the sauce. Before I do that, let's not get too crazy. Let me salt these very generously. Pepper. Now onto the flour. And we just wanna give it a nice little dusting on both sides. And we're gonna brown these off in our pot with a little bit of oil. Get all sides floured up. And then while I'm here, let me just smash up a few cloves of garlic. So this is pretty simple, not a whole lot of ingredients. We got some beef stock, and that's about it. So to start off building our flavor for our short ribs, I'm gonna have a little bit of butter in there and then cook off the bacon. Our bacon has crisped up, so I'm taking the bacon out, and I might just add the crispy bacon at the very end. Because if we cook the bacon like this in the oven, it'll just soften again. To the bacon fat, our short rib goes in. Wanna get a nice brown? We'll do 3 at a time. Our potatoes are done cooking. I just put them back in the pot to let the water evaporate, and then we'll make mashed potatoes. Another little pot. Okay, in this pot, I'm going to, you could do milk, half and half, heavy cream. If we really want to be decadent and make potatoes that are out of this world, you could do heavy cream. But you want warm cream, warm milk, and I melt the butter in there with it. I'm gonna do a couple tablespoons of butter and let that just very gently warm. Take our meat out and then right to our pan, the onions. Go into all that bacon fat and a little bit of the fat rendered off the beef. And then you pick up all the little brown bits that are on the bottom of the pan where all the flavor is down at the bottom. I'm gonna add some salt to our onions. After our onions have sauteed a little bit, now I'm gonna add our garlic. Cook that a bit. Don't wanna brown it too much or burn it, because then it gets bitter. Okay, so this is good. The onion has softened a bit, the garlic, you can smell it. Now we're gonna add in our apple cider. I would say maybe like a cup. And then we have our beef stock going in. Make sure you scrape and get all that flavor off the bottom of the pan. Kind of just take your wooden spoon and just make sure all of that goodness comes up. You just want enough liquid where the meat isn't, the short rib isn't completely submerged, just almost to the top there. And that's it. I think also I'm just gonna take a little splash, I don't know why, of red wine vinegar, just to give it like a little bit of that kick. I'm gonna put the lid on, I'm gonna put it in the oven, I would say for about an hour. Time to make mashed potatoes. One of my favorite things on earth. My children don't like mashed potatoes, so I usually make them for myself. But I brought out the mixer. Some people feel like doing potatoes in the mixer makes them gummy. I happen to like it because it's quick, it's less messy, and if you don't mix it too long, I think you'll be okay. So I've got my potatoes in here, just get the rest out. They're still warm. And I salted the water, like pretty good, because that's one way to try to get some flavor into the potato, so you don't have to add it all afterwards. All right, potatoes are in, and then I've got my cream and butter. Let's see how we did. And also what I'll do is, if you need a little more liquid, I hit it with just a little bit of stock, so you don't have to add more cream or butter. Okay, give it a whip, and that's it. Done. Now at this point, if you wanted to add, you could add sour cream, you could add chives, you could add cheeses, whatever you want. Our apple cider braised short ribs are out of the oven 3 hours later. So this is a good Sunday kind of slow cook meal. The house smells amazing. It's been cooking all day. And then here we've got those Yukon Gold mashed potatoes that we made earlier. I've just been waiting for the short rib to come out of the oven. And I mean, again, it's rustic and cozy. It's fall off the bone after all that time in the oven. Look at that sauce. And I would just put the sauce around with your potatoes. That is a cozy Sunday meal. I thought I'd get in there for a little taste. You really don't need the butter knife, but get some of the mashed potatoes. I'm a sucker for gravy of any kind. It reminds me of my grandma. And it's interesting with the apple cider, it's not sweet at all, but it just has that little something. That is the perfect fall meal. Up next, apple cider donuts, fresh from the oven, and yes, they smell just as amazing as they taste. You know, cider and donuts are a winning fall combo, but what about apple cider donuts? Here's how you make these tasty treats coated in cinnamon and sugar. Since we have our apple cider that we use to braise our short ribs, and maybe the kids have had a few glasses, I thought, let's see what else we could do with apple cider. Since it's something that only comes around once a year, maybe some apple cider donuts. When I was a little kid in Ohio, I distinctly remember going on like hay rides, and then afterwards you would have apple cider and donuts that we're combining. So we're gonna have apple cider donuts, which I think will be kind of cute. We're gonna bake them. You could fry them, but I happen to have one of these little donut trays. You could probably put it in a muffin tin as well, but this is the perfect thing to bake off some donuts. So in here was a cup of apple cider. I reduced it down on the stove to give me a half a cup. So just to kind of concentrate even more the flavor of apple cider, we've got a half cup of liquid, and I put 3 tablespoons of butter in here just to melt because the apple cider was warm. So we're gonna melt that, and if it doesn't melt, just pop it in the microwave for another few seconds to melt the butter. I'm gonna pour that into my mixer. Also gonna add a little bit of, you could do sour cream, Greek yogurt. I have a little labneh, which is a very thick yogurt. 2 tablespoons of that. This will add moisture and a little tang. Splash of vanilla. Got also an egg. Although wanna make sure before you add the egg that you're not putting it into the hot butter. Just mix all that up here. Cool it off a little. Okay, I'm gonna add our egg into our wet mixture. And then to that, let's add our sugar. 1/4 cup of sugar. Wet ingredients done, now to the dry. So we've got some flour, cup of flour, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and baking powder, some salt, a pinch of salt, a good amount. I'm gonna use pumpkin pie spice. You could use a combination. You could do cinnamon, clove, allspice, nutmeg, whatever you like. Now we're gonna add these together, and then we'll add in a little bit at a time here. There we go. All right, let's scrape it down. Let's give it a nice scrape. Okay, now I'm going to, if you have spray, I would spray the donut tray, but I don't have any of the spray, so I'm just going to butter our mold. So so things don't stick. And now let's fill our tray, scoop it in. You could also do a piping bag. 350 degrees. In they go. Time now, while they're still warm, to dip them in some cinnamon and sugar. And this is a little bit more of our apple cider, but I reduced it to make it nice and thick. And I added a pat of butter, a tablespoon of butter, just melted it in there. And this will be what helps our cinnamon sugar stick to our donuts. In a bowl, we'll add some sugar. I'll add more of our pumpkin pie spice. And I'm gonna add a little bit of fresh, this is just a little extra, but I happen to have a bunch of tangerines or oranges. I think will be kind of a nice little bright addition. Let's mix that around. So we take one of our donuts and we just roll it around in our cider butter liquid, and then we come over here and we roll it around in our cinnamon sugar. And there you go, and we just go down the line. For all the recipes we featured in today's episode, you can follow us on Instagram at KTLA California Cooking. Well, that does it for us and our cameraman Theo. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Look who my cameraman is today. What's your name? You look a little young to be my camera guy. Right? Okay, you got it, Theo? I'm gonna make a hearty short rib stew, braised in apple cider, and homemade apple cider donuts that are a perfect sweet ending to my fall-inspired menu. We're kicking things off at Badash Bakes in Pasadena.
Mommy.